Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, eccentrics. My name is Jeff, and you are back here at the Schwab Mill, where we help you craft your accents every single Saturday at this time. In case you're joining us for the first time, what's going to happen is you're going to send us pronunciation files, or you'll listen to pronunciation files that people have sent to us, and we're going to give you some suggestions, some things just to consider when speaking in American English. But I am super excited today because I'm not doing this alone. Some of you already know who our guest is, but before I bring her on, check her out here.
Hi everyone, I'm Maria and this is English to Excel. I have written a lot of business emails in my life and now I want to help you to do the same. Executive. There you go. Okay, on to our next word. Hey Jeff, hi everybody.
Great. So this is Maria from English to Excel. Maria, can you just give us a real quick introduction to who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm founder of English to Excel. So I help people to speak better English for better opportunities, help people just like you guys communicate better at work in English. So I've spent my entire career in marketing and corporate communications working for global companies. I'm from the US, but my job has taken me far away from those American roots, you could say. I've lived and worked in Munich, Germany, Amsterdam, the Netherlands, Geneva, Switzerland, London, New York. Now I'm in the Bahamas for my husband's job. So I'm a lifelong language learner and very passionate about languages myself. So I love this stuff.
Got you. Yeah. Seeing some of your business things. What kinds of things were you doing business-wise? I know a lot of people are looking for business English, like just give people a better idea. What are some things that you especially kind of focused on?
Yep. So marketing. I've always worked in marketing and corporate communications too, a little bit of PR, but mostly internal communications. So kind of crafting the communications from a company out to the public.
Super important. Yeah. So if anyone's looking for especially business English related things, probably a good person to
I'm
find.
your
And again, we can go to english2excel.net, right? Not .com, .net. Got to remember that. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the best way to find me, you guys. If you want to contact me, my email address is there on the site. There's a contact form there on the site. So english2excel.net.
Cool. All right. So let's get right into some files and things. Other people saying hey and welcome, which is great. Thanks for everyone sending us some love. That's some nice things. We're happy.
Great group.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. Give me one sec. Okay, so people send us some files. People have sent us some long files. If you have sent us long files, we appreciate that. We may not be able to listen to the entire file, but we're going to do our best to listen to as much of it as we can. Let's maybe just start off with a short one, though, to warm up.
It's always darkest before the dawn.
Okay, I'm going to play it like 2 times and just get an idea of some things you would comment on.
It's always darkest before the dawn.
One more.
It's always darkest before the dawn.
All right, any things that kind of are standing out to you right here?
Yeah, the first thing I'm thinking too is kind of pitch, kind of the range. You know, in American English, a hallmark characteristic. We really love all that variation in pitch, don't we? The end part. Can you play that the end again before?
I can. I think we were thinking the same thing.
It's always darkest before the dawn.
Before the dawn. Before the dawn. I would have kind of had some falling pitch at the end. I think more Native American speakers may have kind of, instead of that kind of flat rising intonation, falling a little bit. What do you think, Jeff?
You highlighted the same word. I think this audio file is doing a good job with contrast, awareness of it. It's like it's starting higher.
It's always.
So we get it's always, and then we're going to start our descent.
Darkest before the dawn.
Darkest before that. But then we get to dawn, and
before the dawn.
We kind of get that little hill, like dawn, versus darkest before the dawn. Darkest before the. It's always darkest before the dawn. It's always darkest before the dawn. So I would have expected, instead of having that slight rise in pitch, which can also indicate stress to your listener, so we always want to be mindful of that. I would have tried to go down more, because I do think it's slightly raised. Some of that could be because of the letter N. I know that a lot of people, when they pronounce N's, it's very easy to kind of shift back to your first language and where you're projecting from, and a lot of times placement for those N's tends to be pretty nasally. Um, so I would be curious. I would do a progression like ah, dawn, just to kind of identify: is it the ah sound, is it the daw sound, or is it really that letter N that's causing that shift?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm
agree
gonna play,
with you.
I'm gonna play again, see if other things kind of stand out.
It's always darkest before the dawn.
The word the kind of sticks out at me. I'm not so sure that I really heard that th
Hmm.
pronounced so strongly. I may have heard a dud on
Hmm.
instead of the
It's
dawn.
always darkest before the dawn.
Before the, I mean, it could be. You could even reduce it further. Like I do think it could be slightly choppier
Darkest before the dawn.
before the versus before the dawn. Play around with it. I mean, I think there's some opportunities there to, if you want it to be, if you're going for clarity, you can make it even a sharper th. If you're going for reduction, you can make that even softer if you wanted.
It's also, I'm curious too about the word always. It's always darkest
Hmm.
before the dawn. I
Hmm.
like the variation in the pitch, but I think I'm not so sure. I probably would have said maybe it's always, instead of always. It's always
Mm.
before the dawn.
This is where identifying like emotional intent and things like that would have been really helpful, because that would dictate so much of the movement that you want to have.
Uh-huh.
Um, but those are kind of the main comments for this one. Again, it's a short file. Guys, if you are finding this helpful, I have some really great news for you. We have a program that is called Mission English, where this sort of analysis, imagine we do this sort of analysis with you every single day of the week. Every single day of the week, you get someone telling you that, hey, that sounded really good. Hey, we need to increase our pitches. Hey, our vowel wasn't open enough on this word. You can get feedback like that from me every single day of the week in our program that is called Mission English. It's in a private Facebook group. We do a class. It's a small group class. 3 to 4 students join me on screen, and we just do exercises together. This is our schedule right now. We split it up across different time zones. So, for instance, 1:30 p.m. New York. We do that on Monday. We do that on Thursday. We do that on Friday. Maybe you need that 8 p.m. session that we do on Monday. We do that on Wednesday. We do that Thursday. Or maybe what you need is an early morning session. So we have a 9:30 in the morning session on Tuesday, on Wednesday, and on Friday. We also have added in writing classes. You can see those on weekends. So that way, if you're studying for IELTS, you need to write some business emails, we can help you with that. You give us your writing, we take a look at it. You're trying to get a band 7 on IELTS? Cool. We'll look at your essays. We'll give you some suggestions. We'll get you there. Um, there is no better value right now in terms of content, in terms of pronunciation help. I'll be honest with you. It would be great to work with you guys every single day of the week, because that's the other thing, is that pronunciation is one of those things that it has to be consistent and it has to be every day. You take a day off, you take 2 days off, you come back the third day, you feel it. You feel slower. You're rustier. You know, um, just things to consider. So that's the whole reason why we started our Mission English program. You can find more information about fluentamerican.com. In case you forget that, where I always forget my finger. There it is. I found it. Okay, there it is. Fluentamerican.com. Check that out.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm getting some spunk with this.
Yeah, we got a little
I don't know
sass
what you're talking
there.
about.
Yeah. Okay. I am for that. By the way. I'll let you lead off. Any initial things kind of hitting you? I'll play again.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Now, so I first of all, I love the pitch. I like
Hmm.
the attitude, the sass. I'm hearing definitely some American vibes there,
Hmm.
for better or worse. Um, I'm really loving the reduction of don't know. She does a great job. I don't know, don't know,
Hmm.
I don't
Hmm.
know, I don't know. Can you play that beginning part
I
again?
can. Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Hmm.
Yes. I don't know. She does a good job with the reduced form right there.
Hmm. Hmm. I would 100% agree with that. Yeah. There are many different ways to say that. There's nothing like, if you say like I don't know, there's nothing wrong with that. If you say I don't know, probably less common, but still fine. But I don't know, that's a common one. and sometimes everything it just becomes vowels. Just like I don't know what you're talking about. There's lots of different options with that phrase. But I like the one you picked. Um, and I do want to just again put an asterisk that there is a lot of attitude kind of being given with this. There's a little bit of spunk, which is cool if it's intentional. If the intention of this was to be, polite and friendly, this is not the vibe you're going to give off. This is giving off attitude like someone is saying something and you are kind of wanting to get them to like back off or kind of create some distance.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, and it's informal too. The tone is
mhm.
is informal as well.
Yeah, yeah. Because I'm sure you've encountered this just with teaching. Like, I remember sometimes I would be teaching a class and I would say something, and a student would be like, "What?" Yeah, but they don't mean it in an aggressive way. They mean it. They're trying to say like, "Hey, I didn't understand you. Can you repeat that?" But tone, pitch, these things do have very much emotional values that we want to be mindful of.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, culture really plays a big part in that too, doesn't it? Language is
Hmm.
so much more about the words and the grammar and the pitch and
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
the culture and the tone really colors all of that.
Hmm. 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 I see Edward has asked another question here that's related to our discussion. As I see your question as well. We'll get to that in a moment. A question here is what's possible? It's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
Maybe in some parts of the country, maybe. I don't know I don't know what you're talking about.
I, I get the linking, but I feel like this is one situation where actually I probably wouldn't. I'd be less likely to use whatcha. Like you like, hey, what you doing? Like something like that. But in this situation, I'm kind of leaning less frequent. But yeah, possible. I mean, anything's possible. But it's that wouldn't personally be my first inclination in terms of how I would say this sentence.
Mhm.
Um, I would definitely put that phrase into put into like Youglish and things like that. Just kind of see how other native speakers are handling it. Um, Other things about this file.
Can
I
you
don't
go
know what you're talking.
Sorry.
You're good. I'm gonna play again. Here.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay, yeah, she did it. I wanted to check the word your to see if that was reduced to your, because I think that would be the
Good
most,
question.
and I think she does.
Let's see again.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's a really good reduction. Because
Mhm.
there's a tendency, I think, with especially with like R's and like the you're to kind of raise the pitch a little bit and kind of tighten up. But she keeps it pretty light. It's really fast. What you're talking about. What you're talking about. It's just very light R coloring on your and then moving right to talking. But it needs to be fast. And also generally is going to be really low in pitch. I think that was pretty well done there. Good variation in pitch.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Nice little valley. It's like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's like two thought groups, like, I don't know. And then what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Um, just other things, anything that sounds off.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe the ing talking about. What did that stand out to you?
So I think listening to, and I would encourage everyone to kind of listen back like 5 seconds to when Maria was saying it versus this sentence. So one of the things that she was doing with about was she was going lower on the out. It's like about what you're talking about. So like the what ends up happening is your final syllable on about is just slightly lower,
Mhm.
whereas for hers,
I don't know what you're talking about.
it kind of like gets a little stuck. And I think something that we see in a lot of sentences, especially if your last word is not stressed, which is pretty common, those last words in your sentence very often are going to have pretty low pitches.
Mhm.
So I'm kind of wondering if that was maybe also kind of affecting the sound on talking a little bit and making that stand out more.
Mhm. Yeah. How
I
we
don't
don't
know what you're talking about.
I think it's really good. I think it's impressive. Yeah, she did a good
Yeah.
job. Very
This is
natural.
one of those files that, like, I think if you found, like, let's say you recorded 4 native speakers and you added in this file and you just asked native speakers like, hey, find a non-native speaker. I think people could have a hard time with this one.
Mhm.
You know.
Hi, I'm Adam. I'm from Egypt, by the way. Okay, let me start. I have a diverse range of interests and commitments. I'm studying nursing at college, which requires dedication and hard work. Additionally, I work as a web developer online, which demonstrates my technical skills and ability to work independently.
Okay, I'm gonna pause it there because that's already a ton of information. Let's choose a. I'm gonna take it to the very beginning because already I have some ideas.
Yep.
Hi, I'm Adam. I'm from Egypt, by the way.
Okay, let's actually just start with that.
Mhm.
Maria, can you say Adam for me?
Mhm. Adam.
Yeah, Adam,
Adam.
Adam. That's I don't want to. I don't want to critique people on how they say their names. I want to let you know that if you go to North America and you want to pronounce your name, this is true for anybody, and you want to pronounce your name in a way that other people in North America are going to say it, you're going to hear people saying Adam versus
Hi, I'm Adam. I'm from Adam.
I would try to soften that D a little bit and maybe even the M a little bit. So it's not
Mhm.
instead of because right now your syllables are kind of distinct. You have pretty strong separations.
I'm Adam.
Like Adam versus Adam.
Mhm.
Adam. I think in general your fast D sound is gonna have a little bit more breath carrying over. So instead of Adam, you're more Adam. I'm Adam. I'm Adam. Okay.
Great point.
Um, also pitch.
Hi, I'm Adam.
You're a little high in pitch on your M. Like I'm Adam versus I'm Adam. You would expect in general native speakers to go a little bit lower on that second syllable. Adam.
Mhm.
I'm Adam. I'm Adam. You know. Like for instance, my name. I'm Jeffrey. My full name's Jeffrey. I'm Jeffrey. I'm guessing Maria, you would probably say I'm Maria.
Yep. I'm Maria. Yeah. Generally, I mean, we tend to, if you're making a statement, right? If you're saying a sentence, you're not asking an open-ended question or a yes or no question. We usually tend to drop that pitch at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the word.
Mm-hmm.
Usually.
Mm-hmm.
Usually.
Mm-hmm. Which also gets into tricky situations. Like sometimes, just like maybe you want to use a rising intonation because you have more information coming. Like, hey, I'm Adam. I do this. Something like that. So you still need the lower pitch, but then it's going to have that rising intonation, which can be very kind of it feels conflicting in a way. But you need that second one to be lower, but then climb. Like I'm Jeffrey. I'm Adam. And like things like that can be a little tricky there.
Mhm.
Other things that come to mind just for that part?
Not for this first part. No, I
Okay.
think you covered it. No.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna play the next part. I'll play it like twice, and then whatever comes to mind, you let us know, Maria.
I'm from Egypt, by the way.
Play again.
I'm Adam. I'm from Egypt, by the way.
Yep.
Mm,
So the word Egypt to me feels very kind of tight, very tight.
exactly. Hmm.
Egypt. Egypt.
Hmm. Yeah.
I think we would probably draw that out maybe a little more. I'm from
Hmm.
Egypt. I'm
Hmm.
from Egypt,
Hmm.
by the
Hmm.
way.
Yeah.
And there was something with the word the. I'm kind of also hearing, we don't need to overdo the TH sound.
Hmm.
Native speakers don't really do that either. We do reduce that a little bit, but I would have liked to
Hmm.
hear maybe just a tad more. It's sounding more like DA to me,
Hmm.
by the way, instead of by the way.
Let's see that. Let's check that out.
I'm Adam. I'm from Egypt, by the way.
By the way, I wonder if
Maybe
some of that B is kind of heavy in by. That's what's standing out to me there.
Hi, I'm Adam. I'm from Egypt, by the way.
Hmm.
Really pops, right? I'm from Egypt, by the way.
Yeah.
Versus I'm from Egypt, by the way. Um,
Good point.
I think the thing I'm seeing here is, and I think this ties into what you mentioned about Egypt and things like that. I think this file, I have two things. I think the consonant sounds are overpowering your vowels, so we're not able to get that airflow through. And related to it, but not the same thing, is that our placement feels really high to me. It feels like it feels like I'm kind of in this like constricted range. Like I'm not projecting from here. I'm not using my diaphragm. I am 100% relying on my lungs to talk. My lungs are going to do all the work today. And what happens when you're just using your lungs when you're speaking is you don't get resonance. And what also happens is your placement tends to get really higher, which is limiting your range. It feels like I'm using pitches and things that are kind of confined up in here.
Mhm.
Let me play that again.
I'm Adam. I'm from Egypt, by the way.
I'm from Egypt, by the way, versus I'm from Egypt, by the way. I'm from
Mm.
Egypt, by the way. You know, um,
Absolutely.
something
Yeah.
that could help with this would be the phrase "by the way." This is a phrase that's very commonly like, I'm from Egypt, by the way." Um, I think this phrase where you've put it and how you're doing it, you want to reduce it, which is cool. I would reduce it too. Like, I'm from Egypt, by the way. So it's like you have like one thought group, you're stressing Egypt. Cool. I'm with that. That's fine with me. Um, so you see if you can take the by the way, like think of it like stairs. Go down each time and see if you can take the low even lower. It's like, by the way. I'm from Egypt, by the way. Hey, I'm
Mm.
from Egypt, by the way. I'm Adam. I'm from Egypt, by the way. Like something
Yep.
like that, I think will just kind of expand your range, get more breath through, get the sound just a little bit more natural and less tight. Thanks again to Maria for joining us. She did great. I was asked, is it right to put your tip of the tongue behind your bottom tooth when you pronounce N or dark L? Probably pretty sure the tip of the tongue is supposed to be front. Oh, good. Emmanuel probably has some thoughts on this question. I think it's a tricky thing because I think that yes, if you look at pictures for a lot of the mouth position stuff, they're often going to tell you to, do things, a lot of high position things. But I'll put it this way. Everything I'm saying right now, I'm being very intentional to just have the tip of my tongue down against my bottom front tooth. So everything I'm saying right now, my tongue is here for everything I'm saying right now. Even if I'm saying an N sound, even if when I just said N, 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 that's the tip of my tongue down here. So those higher positions aren't wrong. You can do them. They work. There's other options. And again, this is part of what our whole thing is about. We are all about I am much less interested in mouth position because I think it has less impact over sounding natural than other the four concepts. Where are four concepts? Placement, are you projecting from a low spot? Breath, are you engaging your diaphragm? Are you getting enough air moving? Pitch, we talked about so much today. Are you making sure you're using some high pitches and also some low pitches when you're talking? Because we need everything. And then lastly, are you making sure that your vowel sounds are getting enough focus and your consonant sounds are getting weakened enough? So if you're able to do those four things, I don't really care where you put your tongue. Don't care. Take it off. I have a whole video that's literally just me with a pair of scissors taking off my tongue. No tongues were actually harmed, I promise. But I think that a lot of pronunciation teachers. It's funny, like you'll watch a pronunciation teacher, and they'll tell you, oh, for instance, you need to say an O sound with like really round lips, like oh, or you need to make a TH sound with your tongue between your teeth, like. "V." But then, like you watch them say sentences, like oh no, my lips were just straight. Oh no, or like that there. I just said that there, but my tongue didn't go between my teeth. So what just happened? So the reality is that look, like a mouth position is great. It's a nice, helpful guide, but there's obviously other things happening because you can pronounce the same sound with different positions.
Today's my day off, but I'm not really sure how I'm gonna spend it.
Today is my day off, but I'm not really sure how I'm going to spend it. Today's my day off, but I'm not really sure how I'm going to spend it. Um, I would just play around with the intonation there and pay attention. It might be good to kind of record yourself and just start making a note of how often am I using rising intonation? How often am I using falling intonation? Am I overusing rising intonation?
Today's my day off, but
Maybe Emmanuel makes a point here. Look at Emmanuel doing the accent analysis. Look at Emmanuel here. He says to versus t. That might be what I was. Something sounded different to me. So Emmanuel is saying that instead of saying an oo sound, instead maybe using more of a schwa.
today's my day off.
So instead of today, more today, today. And I do think that using that sound, that schwa, will actually help kind of get more air through as well. I would experiment with that. I think that's a good point. Good job, Emmanuel. Emmanuel gets the golf clap. He earned it. Other things here.
Gonna spend it. Thankfully the weather is good, so I might go to the forest. Thankfully the weather is good, so I might go to the forest.
I want to hear the whole thing.
Today's my day off, but I'm not really sure how I'm gonna spend it. Thankfully, the weather is good, so I might go to the forest. But I think before that, I should go shopping and buy something. I guess. Yeah. Anyway, I hope it will be a productive day.
I have one comment for this. It's pitch. You are playing it super safe. You're giving me that comfortable range of pitch that you have. You're never taking anything super high. You're never taking anything super low. Instead, you're kind of just giving kind of like the same four pitch or the range of four pitches. If I said, "Hey, I want you to try to expand this to like 8 pitches," how would you do that? One of the things to consider is that when you're shifting between thought groups, you want to have some sort of like pitch scale shift occurring as well.
Today's my day off,
Like today's my day off. Okay, so let's say that that's where I got our midpoint, maybe even slightly high. What's our movement going to be?
but I'm not really sure how I'm gonna spend it.
Today's my day off, but I'm not really sure how I'm going to spend it. Today's my day off, but I'm not really sure how I'm going to spend it. It's like I'm just starting to try to take things a little bit lower just to add more contrast.
Thankfully, the weather is good, so
Like, thankfully, the weather's good. So now, again, I'm trying to incorporate my pitches. Let's see where you're at when you finish good.
thankfully the weather is good, so
Weather is good. A little heavy on the G, like good versus just good. Thankfully, the weather is good.
I might go to the forest.
Thankfully, the weather is good, so I might go to the forest.
So I might go to the forest.
So I might go to the forest. So you're kind of staying again, same pitch level. So I might go to the forest. So I might go to the forest. You hear that difference there? So I might go high. I might go to the forest. It's like, so I might. We have a higher thought group. Then we're going to shift things lower. Go to the forest. So I might go to the forest. Something like that. Just again, increase those ranges.
But I think before that I should go.
But I think before that, I should go. Do you hear everything's the same? But I think before that, I should go versus, but I think before that, I should go. But I think before that, I should go. Yeah, again, just trying to increase those range of pitches. Okay.
Before that I should go shopping and buy something.
Okay. Listen how you did the repetition. I like the technique, but I think we can help you execute it even in a way that sounds even more natural. I'll be honest.
So one guy asked me the other day, "How often do you train?" And I said, "Well, I usually go to the gym 3 times a week, but with my job and managing a family, that's kind of difficult." So I said, "I don't have any specific days for training. I just go when I have the time."
All right. Try to get some feedback, especially for his first part. Thanks for sending the file, Sycamore.
So one guy asked me the other day,
Sycamore, I want you to something I think is going to be really helpful for you because you give me a lot of stories from your life, which I appreciate. I want you to watch stand-up comedians, specifically stand-up comedians that tell stories. Okay, and just pay attention to how they open. Just listen to stand-up comedians when they're giving their set, and listen to them when they're starting a new joke. Because sometimes you'll have some of them that are like, "So how's that the story the other day?" So there's this one time that like, just listen to how they're opening up. And I think that's going to give you a wider variety of hooks in ways to start off with stories because storytelling is important. You use stories a lot in conversations and things. Okay. Um, I want us to kind of increase our range, and I think it's also going to help us get some more natural rhythms.
so one guy asked me the other day,
So one guy asked me the other day, because I personally, if I were doing this, like, so one guy asked me the other day, like, so one guy, like, no, so I'm stressing one. So one guy asked me the other day. You get some of that intonation rhythm and things like that, just a little bit different. Compare that to the original.
so one guy asked me the other day,
Okay, it's just a note. Keep going.
"How often do you train?" And I said, "How often do you train? How often do you train?"
Just know, I feel like in the US, a lot of times people be like, how often you go to the gym or how often do you work out? But train's not wrong.
"How often do you train?" "How often do you train?"
How often do you train? How often do you train? How often do you train?
"How often do you train?" "How often do you train?"
I would say if you're looking to kind of practice pitch a little bit, try to take you lower. Like, do you train? Like, how often do you train? Do you train? So let's just try and take that you just slightly lower. I think can also be helpful.
And I said, "Well, I usually go to the gym."
So that I
And
said,
I said,
And I said, how often do you train? And I said, um, a lot of times for those parts of stories where like you're doing characters and saying like, oh, and they said, and I said, and things like that. A lot of times those will have lower pitches because it's not the important information. The important information is what you actually say.
train? And I said, well, I usually go to,
Because now the quote kind of is getting lost in the and I said part.
well, I usually, and I said, well, I usually,
And I said, well, and I said, well, and I said, how often do you train? And I said, well, I usually. So notice that by having that lower pitch on the and I said part, it's creating more separation between that kind of storytelling element where I'm just letting you, the listener, know who's talking versus what's actually being said. It's creating more separation with the dialogue. So just kind of something to consider there.
well, I usually go to the gym 3 times a week. Usually go to the gym three. Well, I usually go to the gym three.
Well, I usually pictures are getting a little lost there. I usually. So I try to go down on the and then on usually. If you want to stress that, fine. That's your then you can have that higher pitch and it's going to stand out more. Well, I usually. I was thinking you could open up your vowels more on usually.
Well, I usually go to the.
It's like usually. It feels like our placement's really tight, really closed off, kind of stuck up here. Well, I usually versus where I usually. Well, I usually just try to open up, especially on the all. I think the dark L sound.
Gym 3 times a week. Well, I usually go to the gym 3 times a week.
Well, I usually go to the I usually go to the gym 3 times a week. Again, the rhythm. We're just staying really high. Usually go to the gym 3 times versus usually go to the gym 3 times a week. So trying to take that go to the gym. That's not really your stress the way you're saying it. You're stressing more usually. So we have an opportunity to go lower and pitch on that part. Go to the gym 3 times a week.
But with my job and managing a family,
With my job and managing a family, like you don't need to stress managing. You can, but it's kind of chopping up your sentence a bit.
and managing a family, that's kind of difficult.
That's a nice pitch different in managing a family. That's kind of difficult. You can even go higher. Like that's kind of difficult because you're just like that's kind of difficult. That's kind of difficult. You hear the difference there? So just trying to take your high a little higher. Elson asking the important questions. Just wondering whether it's possible to send essays for evaluation. Yep, 100%. When you aren't able to attend a class, you can only watch a recording later. Yeah, 100%. Definitely. In fact, I encourage you to do that. So and you can always watch again on the replay, and then you can always post a comment after and ask questions about the essay. But the goal is to help out as much as possible, and that's the other advantage to the Mission English thing is like you said, so you can watch the recording later. That's probably the biggest. That's the thing that's most important about Mission English. Like when you're taking a class, probably the least important time is the class time. The most important time is what happens outside of class. Because especially if you're taking a pronunciation class, you don't know what you sound like. Like you just don't. You think you do, but then especially like you might be a person who hates the sound of their voice. Well, why? Because then you listen to it and then you're like, oh, I don't. That's how I sound. I didn't know I sounded like that. I mean, that's proof. You just don't know what you sound like. You don't know what you're doing, and that's the biggest value of the Mission English group is that everything is saved. So then you can just watch it over and over and over again. Um, to the feedback. The other advantage of Mission English too is that you'll hear the feedback I'm giving to other students. You'll hear them talk, and you'll hear me say, "No, your placement needs to be higher," or "No, you're not getting enough breath," or "No, do this with your tongue." So you're hearing that feedback, and you're hearing how that student is talking. So yeah, you can't hear yourself, but you can at least hear how that sort of feedback has an impact on other people. So it just kind of continues to build your awareness of things. So, it doesn't matter if, we're doing exercises and you're not the student. It's valuable just hearing the feedback for things.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse. But I know I sound like a broken record, guys, but the biggest thing here is pitch. If we were able to use a wider range of pitches, this would sound supernatural. Sounds supernatural. I'll be honest.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
You're giving me maybe 3-4 pitches. I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse. I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse. I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse. You know, I'm not even necessarily adding a whole lot more. Emmanuel makes the same comment pitch. We don't even need to add a lot more. It's just, hey, let's take some of our highs higher, lows lower. Highs higher, lows lower, guys. It has a huge impact.
I'm gonna make him an offer.
I'm gonna make him an offer. What are you stressing? You put yourself in this situation where you need to say this. Put yourself in the Godfather's position. Let's maybe stress I. I'm going to make him an offer. That's our first thought group. Then we have our second thought group. So let's shift the pitch. Again, when you shift thought groups, shift the pitch. I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse. I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse. It's like something like that. Just increase the range of pitches. That's 100% going to be my biggest piece of advice here. I think the general sounds are good.
I'm gonna make him an offer.
Maybe watch out for make him.
I'm gonna make him an offer.
I think your placement's going high on that M on him. It's like make him an offer, versus make him an offer. Make him. Watch out for M's. Watch out for sounds that are similar to your first language. Those are the most dangerous. Use a lower placement. So it's not it's more Do you hear that difference? Use a lower placement M sound. What sound does an M make? It makes it doesn't make no, it's make them an offer. Okay. So just watch out for those little things, Marcos.
The
Go.
in which all the spectra can be discerned. The spectrum and a dog crossed the net, stretching out its arms with a
That's a great sound. Sounds like a door opening. My God. No, I don't think it's him. I think it's Shoke. I think. Oh man, that was some great. I don't even know what do I say to that. Like I don't even know what to say. If you guys have feedback, you guys give feedback. I'm just gonna play that again and sit in awe.
The cave is in the number.
Oh yeah, and the caves in is in the number.
Darkness
Sounds like The Ring or
in
something.
which all the spectra can be discerned. The spectrum and a dog crossed the net, stretching out its arms with a
That sound. Oh my gosh. It's like very Halloween. My God. I would just say catch again. Say more catch. Shook, I don't know how to critique this. This is like, there's so much going. This is a character, like I don't know what to say. Like this is, I think for what you need this to be, I think it's doing what it needs.
Hey guys, whose apartment is this? I'm just wondering. It looks nice. I would love to work with you and
Emmanuel, this kind of reminds me of like early Emmanuel
with the rest
files.
of the team here.
Okay, maybe a little tighter in breath, but the reason I say that is that clear, but missing pitches.
Hey guys, whose apartment is this? I'm just wondering.
Like, hey guys, whose apartment is this? I'm just wondering. Like everything's the same. You just give me the same placements. Placement's kind of high. So the very first thing I'm going to tell me, I know it's not you. We did you way early on. But just there's some things that kind of remind me. It feels like kind of opportunities where I think expanding the pitch range and expanding your placement is going to have a huge impact on this.
Hey guys, whose apartment is this?
Like, hey guys, try to get more breath on the eyes. Hey guys,
Hey guys, who's
do that. Hey guys versus hey guys. Try to get more air through on that I sound. Don't worry as much about that Z sound on guys or the G. Focus more on that I sound and try to get that air flowing. Like, hey guys, hey guys.
Hey guys, whose apartment is this?
That's probably your strongest sentence. Hey guys, whose apartment? Like good shift on the whose apartment. I really like that shift up.
Apartment is this?
Closes off though on this. Whose apartment is this? Try to open up on this. Again, I think the easiest way to do that would be trying to emphasize more on that short I sound. Don't worry as much about the S. It's not this, it's more this. This. Trying to open up that eh.
Apartment is this? I'm just wondering.
I'm just wondering. Instead of wondering, more wondering. I'm just wondering. Stress one, and then for wondering, like that DERING is going to be so weak and it's going to be so fast. Wondering. I'm just wondering. Just wondering.
I'm just wondering.
I'm just wondering. Also, it sounds like you're using an ah sound versus a schwa sound. So like compare like an ah, or like lock, luck, or hot, hut, or like cop, cup. I would study your ah sounds versus your schwas.
It looks nice.
Another vowel that would be good to compare would be your sound, like in look, and your sound, like in like booth. So like ooh, like buck, booth, good, goo, should, shoe. So I would definitely study some vowel minimal pairs here because I do think we're kind of shifting unintentionally.
It looks nice.
How are you saying nice?
Nice.
Nice. Almost sounds like you're using a Z sound instead of an S. Just watch out. Nice. Finishing on the S sound is voiceless.
I would love to work with you and with the rest of the team here.
The rest of the Tim?
And with the rest of the team here.
The rest of the Tim. Hey, Tim. So Tim is a name for a guy. My guess is you're talking to a team and the rest of the team here. So watch out for E sounds. Okay, so trying to hold that vowel just a little longer. Rest of the team here.
With you and with the rest of the team here. I'd love to work with you.
Work with you. Work with you. Another thing too is just again a super common thing I see with students. I see Emmanuel again saying, "Rest of the Tim. Where's the rest of the Tim? I found his hand. Where's the where's the rest of his body? Where's Tim?" With is a voiceless sound at the end. It's not a voice sound, so it's not with the. It's more with the. Because just watch out for that.
I'd love to work with you and with the rest of the team here.
Like work with you versus with you. Work with you. Work with you. It's not work with you. It's work with you.
Here. So, but
watch out for diphthongs too.
So.
My guess is when you said so, you really rounded your lips. So, like that. I would say, hey, keep your lips straight. So I have a video that talks about diphthongs. It's a recent video, so like if you go to my videos, it says like the secret formula or something like that. It's me and it has like 1 + 1 = 1 because math. And check out that video because it's going to give some tips on diphthongs because we often don't want to emphasize the last part. We're much more interested in just kind of combining the two sounds into a single sound. So it's not oh, just like oh.
So.
Yeah, so versus so.
But once we wrap it.
We see again once. Watch out for that schwa sound. So it's not once. It's more once.
But once we wrap it up, I gotta go. Sorry.
I gotta go. Sorry. Oh man, this is. I've worked on projects with people like this. Once we're done, I gotta go. Sorry. Hold that E sound at the end. It says sorry. More sorry.
I gotta go. Sorry. Bye.
Bye. That's great. Yeah, sorry. Just hold that E sound at the end. Just hold that E. A lot of people want to reduce E sounds, but you want to. E doesn't very often get reduced. It's going to stay an E sound.
Jerry, what brings Jerry tonight?
Bring Jerry. Okay, so Jerry, I'm hearing very clearly, and as we'll bring.
Jerry, what brings Jerry tonight?
We'll bring. I think we're moving a little bit too fast on that second half. Oh wow! I would. Okay. Well, this is very, very different than what I expected. Okay, so how can we make sure that I would understand this? I was not getting that. Wow. And I see that I was asked us how we pronounce if we pronounce if we. That's how I would say that. Tim says thank you from the cemetery, from the bottom of the lake. Okay, how do we? So why am I not hearing that? So what I heard, like, Jerry will bring Jiri tonight.
Jerry will bring Jiri tonight.
We'll bring Jiri tonight. If we. Oh, so I guess I was talking about the reduction. Can if we just become if we go? Yeah, I mean in the right context, because the if will get reduced. I think that can work fine. Now I will be honest. I think some of this is just a microphone, just your voice traveling thousands of miles somehow at the incredible speeds. I think some of that is the issue.
Jerry will bring Jiri tonight.
Brings you here tonight. It's like, Jerry, what brings you? Yeah, I mean, I hear it. I can hear it now.
Jerry will bring Jiri tonight.
How would I arrive there if I didn't have the text? Like, I want to arrive at a point where you could say this and I wouldn't need you to repeat it and I would understand it perfectly fine.
Jerry will bring.
It's like, Jerry, I'm cool with that. Jerry, I like Jerry. Jerry's great. Great guy. Fantastic guy.
Jerry will bring Jiri tonight.
What brings you here tonight? What brings you here tonight? What brings you here tonight?
Jerry will bring Jiri tonight. Will bring Jiri tonight. Will bring Jiri tonight.
Jew here tonight. Okay, I think I know what my issue is. I don't know if you guys will agree with me, but I think my issue is that I think you're giving me three stresses on three words. It's like you get stressed, here gets stressed, tonight gets stressed. So by stressing all of them, none of them get stressed. When everyone's special, no one is special, right?
Will bring Jiri tonight.
Jew here tonight. Jew here tonight.
Will bring Jiri tonight.
Jew here tonight. So like everything sounds stressed. You sound stressed. Here, it feels like it even goes a little higher in pitch. Like Jew here.
Will bring Jiri tonight.
Jew here. Jew here. So like when you're doing that shift, I'm immediately taking the emphasis instead on from you, I'm putting on here. But then
Will bring Jiri tonight.
Tonight. So like by having that drop on two, but then the pitch rising again on night, that makes tonight sound stressed. So now my brain is confused.
Will bring Jiri tonight.
My tiny brain is so confused with big problems.
Will bring Jiri tonight.
Jew here tonight. What brings you here tonight? So I think that we sound surprised to see Jerry, because Jerry, he's always doing that thing. So Jerry, cool. What brings you here tonight? I always stress you. Don't stress here. Don't stress tonight. And that has a huge impact because if we're not stressing them, we need them to go down in pitch. You here tonight. What brings you here tonight? Jerry, what brings you here tonight?
Will bring Jiri tonight. Will bring Jiri tonight.
What brings you here tonight? Play around with the pitches. Keep the pitch lower on here and keep the pitch even lower on the night and just see how much that's going to help with the comprehension. It's going to make a very big impact. Okay. Man, that's a short sentence, but that was a puzzle. All right. Thanks for sending that file. I appreciate it. And this is our last one. So if I have not gotten to you, you need to show yourself. Tell me. Before we look at this last file, again, just a quick reminder. If you want to get help like this every single day of the week, pronunciation is not a one-day thing. Studying pronunciation, studying a language is not a one-day thing. It is an everyday thing. It is a commitment. I want to make your commitment easier to attain, and I also want to make sure you feel noticeable progress. So that's why I have created our Mission English program. So that way, even if you're not able to, some students, they want to have classes with me, but my schedule doesn't always allow for it. Well, this gives you the chance to make sure you have a little bit of time practicing with me every single day of the week. This is our Mission English program. If you go to fluentamerican.com, you can find it there. This is our schedule, New York times. We meet at all these different time zones 3 times a week. Okay, so 1:30 p.m. New York. We do that Monday. We do that Tuesday. We do that Thursday. 9:30 a.m. You want to rise up in the morning with me? Cool. We'll do that Tuesday. We do that Wednesday. We do that Friday. You're more of a night owl? Got you. We have classes at 8 p.m. on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We have writing classes. If you're studying for IELTS, let's get you a band 7. I know how to do it. I graded it. Literally graded test for 3 years. I gave like 1,000 band 6s because everyone gets a band 6 or a band 5. We would love to work with you. Okay.
When I went to the store, the dog barked at me.
Oh wow. Well, that took a turn. Kind of. This sounds very dramatic. When I went to the store, the dog barked at me. Oh my gosh! Like it sounds traumatizing. Oh my gosh. I'm allergic to dog barks.
When I went to the store, the dog barked at me.
Okay. I really like your microphone. Very clear audio. This is the clearest. You win the clearest audio award. This is the best microphone.
When I went to the store,
When I went to the store, when I went to the store, when I went to the store. What are you stressing? Are you stressing when? Or are you stressing store?
when I went to the store, when I went to the store,
What are you stressing? If you don't know, I don't know. You know, so I'm in this conflicted position. I think you're stressing when at first, but then store got emphasis. So I pick one. When I went to the store, when I went to the store, now I'm stressing went. When I went to the store, well, now I'm stressing store. Be a little clearer with your stress words because that has going to have a huge impact on your rhythm for your sentence because that's going to dictate what word is going to get the high pitch, what words are going to get the low pitch. Your sounds themselves are pretty clear.
when I went to the store,
You have some nice linking. Like when I went, that's some nice linking with the N.
when I went to the store,
We kind of talked about this with Maria a little earlier when she was with us. So you have a little bit of breaking on store, which is fine, but the issue is that your R is kind of tensing and closing off.
to the store,
Or versus or. So I would just try to get a little bit more air through on your R. Okay. So stresses, R sound, and then how about our last part?
or the dog barked at me.
The dog barked at me. The dog barked at me. What are you stressing? Dog barked?
To the store, the dog barked at me.
Barked. I would go lower on dog. The dog barked at me. Or go higher on bark. The dog barked at me. When I went to the store, the dog barked at me. Like your stress word, you create more separation. Go a little higher on whatever word you're trying to stress, or go lower on things that aren't stressed. Okay. Potterhead, for this sentence or the previous sentence, like the bring sentence, let me know which sentence you intend. So I want to make sure I'm answering your question. But when I went to the store, the dog barked at me. This also brings up another point we mentioned earlier. So you have two thought groups.
When I went to the store,
that's your first thought group. When I went to the store, okay. So then for my next thought group, I have to make a choice. Am I going to go higher in pitch? Or am I going to go lower? I need separation between my thought groups. I need to incorporate more pitches. Okay. So,
or the dog barked at me.
It sounds like you're going slightly lower.
When I went to the store, the dog barked at me.
Okay, so it sounds like you're going a little lower, but I would go way lower. Don't settle for littles. You know, when I went to the store, the dog barked at me. When I went to the store, the dog barked at me. Or you could go higher. When I went to the store, the dog barked at me. You know, but just doing something like that is just going to add a lot more contrast to your speech because right now it just sounds a little flat. Okay, but thank you for sending that audio. I appreciate it.